This guy is all about shaving heads and not points. It's the Shave Heads Not Points podcast with your host, PJ Davis.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Shave Heads Not Points. We have another bald-headed guest with us today. Thanks to Bill Shafer coming on from LaunchPad Kickoff Tee. Bill, thanks for joining us today.
You bet, PJ. How you doing?
Good, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself and where you grew up and playing ball and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, I grew up here in Northeast Ohio, which is where football really started. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is here. It's 6 miles down the road.
That's cool.
And we love football. And I know I'm just a kicker. That's what we do. We're kicking and punting. But we don't come from soccer. We come from football, and that's what I love. I started playing the game when I was 12. And I was real small, PJ, real small. And I wrestled in high school. When I graduated, I was 105 pounds, so I didn't get to play football. I didn't get to kick, But when I got out of the Navy, I grew up, and then I was able to walk on at Akron U. And I played at Akron U for Coach Faust for a little bit.
Okay, cool.
And, I've been around the semi-pros a little bit. I coached here in Massillon, Ohio, home of the Tigers. And then we invented this kickoff tee, and so now here we are.
Yeah. So, so you kicked at Akron. But it was after you got out of the Navy. So how old were you when you were kicking?
Yeah, I was an Akron fireman at 26 years old.
Nice.
In Akron, Ohio, and I enrolled full time as a student at Akron U, and I went to the weight room, and there was a sign there that said, if you'd like to walk on and try out for the football team, to give it a shot. And Coach Faust was it was his first year at Akron, right out of Notre Dame. And John Carney kicked for him, the previous.
Yeah.
So I was his next kicker. And I walked, I was a good kicker. I trained myself. And I went to Ray Pelfrey's camp back in the 80s. I'm a little bit older. And knocked on the door of Coach Faust's office, said, "Coach, give me a shot. I'm a great kicker, and I think I can make your team." And he gave me a shot, and I made the team, and the rest was history. And it was an awesome opportunity.
That's awesome. What is your what's your favorite kicker moment from kicking?
Yeah, that's when it was the first practice. This is what kickers really. It's an insightful question, Coach. But this is what kickers really need to understand, or anybody that's in competitive sports. You think that Super Bowl moment, or that Olympics moment, or that heavyweight title moment is your most important. It's not your most important moment. Your most important moments are in your first practices, especially when you're with your team that you're going to make your way with. And that was certainly true for me. When Coach Faust called me out in front of the team on the first practice, right? And he said, Coach Faust's voice, he had one of these voices. He said, "Shafer," right? And I went running out there, and it was a 53-yard attempt right out of the gate.
Put the pressure on you first day.
Absolutely. Nailed it.
Nice.
Nailed it. I don't know how. When it was all over, I opened my eyes. Did I make it? But somehow or another it went through, and that was probably one of the greatest moments of my life as a competitive athlete.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So once you got into coaching, you coached at Massillon, which I had to correct somebody on Twitter the other day. They said we have the offensive line coach from the number one team in the nation, which is Grayson, which is about 30 miles down the road from us, and the head coach of the winningest high school in the country. And I looked on his graphic and I said, "That's not the winningest high school in the country." I said, I tweeted him, I said, "Hey, buddy, you're wrong. Here's the link to the winningest high school in the country." So I had to tell him that Georgia has the most wins of any high school, but we'll leave that for another day.
That is true. If you ask people that don't know to guess what the top two states are with wins in high school football, I doubt that people would vote or would guess Georgia and Ohio, but they would be correct.
Texas. Sure, somebody would try to say Texas.
Yeah, Texas, And, Texas has got to be right there.
There's some in there, yeah. There's some in there for sure. High school that I'm currently at, we are third all-time in the state for wins, but we're like I don't know, 47th in the country or something like that. You know, we've been playing football since 1912 or 1913. And,
Nice.
you know, and so that's where us and Massillon and Valdosta and a lot of these programs have an advantage is, well, we were playing football over 100 years ago, and some of these schools weren't playing football till they were a brand new school in 1985 or 2005, you know.
It's part of us.
Exactly.
Football is part of us. It provides us with so much. It's
Mhm.
it's chess on a football field.
Exactly.
It's your brain and your brawn all mixed together in one. And on any given night, any team can win.
Uh-huh.
I just love that.
Yep. So what how did you get into making your own kickoff tee?
Well, that's a great question. You know, a lot of people ask me that. Um, I'll tell you something. Everybody has things in life that they obsess on,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things that I obsess on is kicking a football.
Uh-huh.
And it's provided me with hours and hours of joy and motivation to keep myself young and keep myself in shape for a lifetime. You know, it's been wonderful. But about 10 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, there was a kicker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're probably you're probably too young to remember this, coach, but his name was Gary Anderson.
Yep. Nope. I actually he lives down here in the Atlanta area, and
Is that right?
and he coached my all-state kicker when so my kicker that is just graduating from Appalachian State. Oh wait, never mind. Wrong Anderson. I'm thinking Morton.
You're thinking Morton Anderson.
I'm thinking
Morton
Morton.
Anderson. Yeah, he's one of the all-time great kickers. But
Yeah.
I mean, I never got his style because he's left-footed, and it was
Uh-huh.
really hard. You know.
Sorry, keep going with your story. My bad.
Yeah, but that's okay. No, that's all right. I mean, there's a lot of great players out there.
Yeah.
But Gary Anderson, he was same era as Morton Anderson. Gary Anderson had the single bar face mask.
He was the Minnesota one too, right?
He was in Minnesota for a while. Yeah, same guy. But he was an exceptionally accurate kicker and very, very good in his day. And he might be one of the first guys to approach 90%. I'm not sure about that. But the particular thing about him was that on field goals, he had his holder lean the ball forward towards where he was kicking. It's a forward lean. And we were just so puzzled, so counterintuitive. You know, we all saw Charlie Brown and Lucy. You lean the ball backwards, right, before you pull it away. But it seemed so. But we really started thinking about this and looking at. Turns out that the reason for this is that it exposes the sweet spot,
Right.
and it also extends the segment of power transfer in the trajectory of your foot through the ball. It makes it longer. More power and energy goes into the ball. Gary Anderson had this figured out 20 years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, we saw this and we thought, well, wow, that's amazing. So we decided there was no tee out there, no kickoff tee that would enable a forward lean. So we decided to come up with one that would do that. So we took a football shoe, and we cut it out, covered it with duct tape, and made our first prototype, leaned the ball forward, and instantly, as a cow, instantly, we got 10 yards greater distance, a half-second greater hang time.
That's crazy. And I love the illustrations that y'all send in the box. The Bill was gracious enough to send me a LaunchPad kickoff tee with a shirt. And we'll be giving one away in a later episode as a prize for something. We're not sure yet, but it's a really cool design because I sent him a message. I said, well, can you send me one for a left-footed kicker too? And tell him what your response was.
Yeah, it definitely is. Let me show you something, Coach. You might even be referencing the Jawbone. Are you familiar with the Jawbone kickoff tee?
Is that the one that was the two triangles on the back?
No, maybe that's an aspect I'm not thinking of, but the jawbone is the one that's got bristles that you take out and then you
yes,
place
I have
them,
seen those. Yes.
right? And that is, depending on which side the bristles are on, it's for a left-footed or a right-footed kicker. The jawbone is an exceptional tee. It is a departure from other tees, and it's a great tee, okay? The LaunchPad is different. It's flexible. I don't know if people know that or not. You can scrunch this thing up. Remember these?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This can poke your eye out.
Yeah.
Or if you step on this while you're running,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about that with the LaunchPad. See? Yeah. So.
Yep. But it's very stable, even though it's flexible like that. It's got a heavy base to it to where it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. We've actually had some people send us some videos indicating that, like, for wind.
I saw that video on your YouTube channel the other day.
It's great. I just love that. And people keep sending us video, and we love that because we've been the ones saying this for so long, but now people are starting to send us their videos with the same results that we're finding. The wind cannot knock the ball over when it's placed in the LaunchPad. And it's amazing because, I mean, how many times have you as a coach had to sacrifice somebody on your cover team just to hold your ball in place on a windy day? Those days are over.
Yep. So what makes your tee, other than, holding it during the wind, what makes it better than any other tee that's out there or different?
Yeah, I'm glad you made that distinction, between better and different. We're not going to say our tee is better. I mean, of course, we think it is, but that's up to you to judge. What makes it different is very, very important. And I've got you ever seen one of these?
No, never seen that one before.
This is Under Armour. This is Under Armour's kicking tee.
Really?
Yeah, this is called the Kick 6. The Kick 6, I don't know if you can see, well, in here there are, they've got metal inserts. This is very heavy, okay? And can you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you kick this, you're going to be hurting. The reason I bring this tee out is every tee for the last 20 years, see how the ball sits down into the tee?
Correct.
Like a cup? That's basically the mounting apparatus for every tee for the last 20, 30 years. See how my finger is that deep? It's an inch deep, okay? Every tee has been like that for the last, until the LaunchPad. The LaunchPad, I don't know if you can see this back.
Can you tilt your camera down just a hair? There we go.
It allows you to see the entire ball from the top to the bottom. The entire ball can be seen. Just to give you a comparison. Can you see that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. This is your sweet spot. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of work to get there. This sweet spot begs you, please. That's the main difference, is that this tee allows you to see the entire ball.
Gotcha.
Now that's one thing. The other thing is that if I may, Coach,
of course,
when you use this like mounting apparatus, you can't.
Yeah, you can't lean that one back very much, or it has to be in one specific position. You can't really adjust it.
How low do you want to go?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now let's just say you're an exceptional kicker and you would like to use a forward lean. If you're using this,
it's going to fall every time.
By the way, this tee fell off and hit this ball. That ball still stayed there.
Yeah, it did. It didn't move anywhere.
So really, that's your main difference, is you can see the entire ball with the LaunchPad. But the LaunchPad is that you just
And it's not going anywhere.
And it's not going anywhere. You can't do this with this tee.
No.
So we say it this way. The LaunchPad gives you 360 degrees of angulation angles any other tee out there simply does not give you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you. This has opened up strategic options for coaches that never existed before on kickoffs. And it's also enabled, let's say you're a field goal kicker and you got a great 40, 45, 50-yard field goal range. But on kickoffs, you're just not that great, right? There's a lot of kickers out there like that.
Mm-hmm.
The LaunchPad has enabled them to step up their kickoff game to match their field goal game, opening up doors for scholarships and opportunities that didn't exist before.
All right. So what, how does it give you more obviously the bigger sweet spot that we've talked about. But let's say I want to lean it forward. How does the front of that tee give me more hang time and not, basically grab onto the ball as if it were a set of fingers on the front of the ball? How does it not cause friction or something like that? And how does it give me more hang time to, possibly get me a scholarship if I want to go kick in college?
Excellent question. Excellent question. You went off script for that one, Coach.
No idea.
It shows you're thinking about it. I really appreciate it. There are two aspects. Okay. First of all, if this was built out of this material, which is not, it's rigid, right? You could hurt yourself with this. Then the release, these would definitely impede the release of the ball.
Right.
These are highly flexible fins. Look, can you see this? I mean, even at the tip, they're just very flexible.
Exactly.
And they're designed to just open up and release. And they're designed to be wide enough for the ball to sit there and to release. You can see this demonstrated on Twitter and also Instagram especially. There's kick after kick after kick of exceptional guys who have really learned to kick off of this thing. When you hit this thing perfect, the tee just sits there. The ball flies. So, but here's why it works. I'm gonna use this.
It's like a football on steroids.
It is like a football on steroids. Okay, this is your.
Turn towards the camera just a little bit. Your voice was kind of carrying away.
Okay, you in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is your sweet spot. It's a little bit lower when the ball is tilted back a little bit. This is your trajectory of your foot. All right?
Okay.
You get a slight upward, and it comes in on this. But this is the length of the trajectory. When the forward lean, you can still see this. The sweet spot is up here, which is way more accessible, way easier to kick off of this. Look what happens to the length of the trajectory. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
An inch and a half longer.
Really?
Forward lean. It's this versus that.
And honestly, as a kicker, what you want to do is you want to hit, not necessarily, as a punter, you want to compress that fattest part of the football right there where the circumference is the biggest.
Yeah, see, that's the language a lot of coaches are using, and I should probably start using that language. But what they're saying is that this puts you through the meat of the ball.
Right.
This has been a great tee and a great set for the last 20 years. We like to call it's like the model tee.
Yeah.
Okay. It's had its time. It was great. This is very important. So there's a two-step process. If you're a young kicker, right? If you're a young kicker, we encourage you to use the tee this way because this will allow you to find angles that for your particular foot.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to jam people into a technique that their coaches prefer, this tee allows each individual kicker to find their exact preferred set. So it just allows optimum performance.
Right.
So that's step one. Once they get that, and become a proficient kicker, that's when you turn the tee around and start working on finding your optimum forward lean. Because when you find your optimum forward lean, if you're an experienced kicker, we've seen college and professional kickers, and you can see them on Instagram. LaunchPad Kickoff Tee is where you find us on Instagram, with 4.3, 4.4 hang time, which is incredible.
What, because, you know, when you're punting, usually your hang time, each second of your hang time equates to about a second. I'm sorry, 1 second of hang time equates to about 10 yards of distance on a punt. How does that correlation kind of change when a kickoff comes about?
Now, a kick and a punt are two different animals.
Right.
Typically, you want a 50-yard punt with a 5-second hang time. That's professionally the optimum that you want. Okay, with a 5-second hang time, you're really looking for a 65 to 70-yard distance with a 4.0 or higher.
Okay.
And that's really the gold standard for a college kicker. If you want a scholarship as a kickoff specialist, you really need to break that 4-second plane.
Okay.
And the LaunchPad is helping athletes to do that.
So, like for my guy, who is going to be a senior, who's been kicking since he was a freshman, good mechanics, needs to get better at his leg speed, in my opinion. He's pretty strong in the legs, but he's not super strong. Should he start, you know, with the forward lean that the ball's sitting in the position right now, or should he turn the block around or turn the LaunchPad kickoff tee around, or which one?
Love that question. I love that question because everybody wants the keys to the wheel and hit it, you know, and it's like, you can't just do that.
Yeah.
So especially with a guy who needs greater leg speed, or if he's not getting the distance, or if he's not getting the hang time he wants, there's a reason for that. And the reason is because he needs to find his unique ball set so that when his foot comes through with his physiology and his anatomy, when his foot comes through in the unique way that it does, this tee will help him find his optimum angle. That will start blasting his ball on his kickoffs.
Okay.
And it'll increase his confidence, and it'll make him more likely to be able to turn it around and then find the forward lean. But I mean, I would definitely start with a backward lean. Definitely.
Now, would you give that same answer if it were someone who's having any coach, not just me and my guy, or our guy, but would you give that same advice to any coach who's having a problem developing a kicker who can't get it past the 15 or the 10, if they're trying to kick it deep and it's basically a almost like a sky kick, but it's not even going very high?
Yeah, that's a great question, Coach. I really appreciate it because this tee is designed for a coach to help him win football games.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and here's what I mean by that. Everybody likes long ball. It's great. It's great. If you can get the ball in high school to the end zone, you got a scholarship coming. Okay, but most kickoff specialists in high school and most teams do not have a blue chip kicker that can get the ball all the way to the end zone. So here's what you do. If you're in that situation and you're a coach, wouldn't it be great? So I'm going to ask you a setup question. Okay, I'm setting you up with this question. Okay, how would you like to have 2 or 3 more possessions per ball game throughout the season?
Oh, everybody would love that.
Yeah, that's a setup question,
yeah.
Right? Well, if you've got a kickoff specialist that can't reach the end zone, by using the LaunchPad kickoff tee and this ball set chart that we have here, right? We'll show you how to set the ball in the perfect squib kicks. And the idea is that if you can kick the ball from the 40-yard line, a 20-yard squib kick to the opposition 40, right?
Yeah.
You're going to recover half of those. if you've got a kickoff specialist in high school, you've got a guy that's maybe not even a kicker. Maybe it's the quarterback, maybe it's just an athlete, it's some tackle, it's somebody that's volunteered for the job. What you want to do is you want to look at the ball set chart. You want to get a LaunchPad kickoff tee. Look at the ball set chart. Let me put my glasses on so I can make sure we're doing this, Coach. Right here gives you can dial in the squib that you want. Can you see that okay?
No, it's kind of blurry.
Okay, well, when you order a LaunchPad kickoff tee, you get a ball set chart in there. And on this chart, it helps you to dial in.
Take a picture of that and like put it on my Instagram.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but go ahead.
You can dial in your squibs. And what this does is it enables you to kick a variety of squib kicks at the 20-yard range. So if you're starting at the 40, you're going to kick to the vicinity of their 40 or their 35 with a squib kick that is very hard to handle. And when you kick diagonally across the field or use a variety of patterns, you're going to give yourself a 50% opportunity to recover. And if you don't recover, they're on the 35 or 40-yard line, which is basically your typical return anyway in high school.
Yeah.
So my advice would be, instead of, just give this just a little bit of thought. If instead of trying to reach the end zone and perhaps putting it in the hands of a speedy receiver and return specialist, maybe you could kick it to the intermediate range where the hands guys, they're not even hands guys up there, and they have no idea it's coming, where your guys do, and give yourself an opportunity with 2 or 3 more possessions per game. And throughout the season, you're talking 20 to 30 more possessions per season if you don't have a guy that's all sold out on reaching the end zone.
So if you were if you were the kicker or you were coaching the kicker and you were telling him exactly how to squib kick this thing, how would you coach them up on how to kick it, how to place it, predicting where the ball is going to go, all that sort of kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, I would develop probably, if you have 4 practices in a week, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? I would take and develop 4 really good patterns for your entire kickoff team to recognize. And you can make this call. It sounds like a lot of work, but kickoff boot camp is coming. You can just send your kid and your coach to us, and we'll take care of this. When they come back, they'll be foot soldiers and they'll know exactly what to do. But, if you just install 4 plays with your kickoff team and your kicker, so that you can go to the line, look at your coach, he'll make the call, and then you make your kick. It's the read option kickoff package. Stop giving the ball away just because you're kicking off. You have the ball on a kickoff. You do not need to just automatically give the ball up. You have possession of the ball. So you make the call, install 4 plays, intermediate this way, intermediate that way. Maybe this guy acts like he's going to kick off, but then this guy kicks off, and then opposite. Those 4 little plays right there, along with just a simple 10-yard roller for your obvious onside kick. The opposition will be so nervous, they'll have ants in their pants and they won't know what to do. And you're going to come out with 2 or 3 more possessions per game.
So what, how would you place the ball for an optimal squib kick?
Okay, so let's just say you're kicking this direction, all right?
Okay.
Kicking this direction. I'm a right-footed kicker.
Okay.
So you want to place the tee at a 45-degree angle, right? And then this is punters know this, kickers don't know this so much. Don't kick here. This is the most dynamic spot.
Yeah, don't kick on the seams of where the ball's sewn together.
Correct. Don't kick here. Kick here whenever you can. Okay. So this is your squib. This is your squib set right here.
Okay.
Now, this is a coarse roller. And by the way, if you go to YouTube, you can look on LaunchPad Kickoff Tee. You'll find our channel. On that channel is a video called Squib City, which we did about a year ago. And Squib City shows you how to dial up your squibs. This is a fine roller. Coarse rollers, almost do so much with this. I mean, that's far. You can even stick it on the ground.
Yeah.
There's just so much you can do. And of course, as you wish, you can do this left-footed as well. Okay.
So how do you, what's your foot contact for that? Because do you chop down on it or what?
Yeah. So a right-footed kicker, you're coming through this way, right? You're going to hit the ball right here.
So it
come right through here.
Okay. So would I optimally I would not want to put it on the right hash necessarily. Or I guess I could. I wouldn't want it to look.
You want to put it on the left hash.
Okay.
You would want to put it on the left hash, or you would want, if you don't want to put it on the left hash and kick this direction. But you can also put it on the right hash, almost backwards, and kick this direction.
Okay.
This will give you a spinning whizzer.
Mm-hmm.
This kicking from, if you the goal end zone, kicking off to the left.
Yeah.
This will give you a course roller. Very difficult to field. This is more of a whizzer. You don't know what's going to happen. You catch the top here.
Yeah.
You do not really need to kick down, which can cause a groin injury.
True.
The beauty is you just come across with it. Because you can dial it in. I challenge anybody to come up with these swim sets on you cannot.
Yeah, you can't set it anywhere because it won't balance.
Can't do it.
That's awesome. I'm definitely going to have to try that with our guy. My guys, they use, that green tee, the green, it's got the little
stealth triplex.
So it's got the little cup built into the front for onside kicks. However, problem is that's very obvious. So if you wanted to do like a surprise onside kick, unless you're just going to chop down on the ball and it just be one of those slow dribblers or something, it's going to be way too obvious, and, in football now, you can't chop down on it, give one hop and it go up very far. It basically has to be like a 2 or 3 bouncer before it might hit that one high kick. So how can the LaunchPad really screw up the kickoff return team, but my guys know where it's going every time, or my guys can anticipate where it's going every time?
That's another great question. You're on a roll here, Coach.
I'm a kicker. So.
Well, there you go. I don't mean to keep beating this drum, but with the old tee, you have very limited options. And even though this is the Under Armour, it does have a notch that will enable you to do an onside set off the ground like what you're talking about, but it's very limited. It's very limited. And also, as you pointed out, people are smart.
Yeah.
Football players are smart. And if they see something on the ground, they know what's happening. They know what's up. They know what's coming, right? So how do you build in the element of deception or surprise or stealth into your onside kickoff team? Well, stop placing it on the ground. If you want to place it on the ground, the LaunchPad will allow you to do that. Okay. And it's got such a wide channel, it will actually allow you angulation, right? Off the ground like that. But for onside kicks, the whole point of an onside kick is to get an irregular roll.
Right.
Football is an oblong shape instead of a round roller. So if you can get these points opposing each other in a way that is irregular or unpredictable, then it becomes a successful onside kick. So we should define a successful onside kick as far as the kick itself. You want the ball to do what it's going to do and give your team an opportunity to recover it. Okay, a successful onside recovery is different than a successful onside kick. You can have a successful onside kick every single time, and it's the formula that you mentioned. This is beautiful. Obviously, you're a kicker. The formula you mentioned is it repeatable and predictable so that your team knows what's coming? Absolutely, absolutely. The LaunchPad this when it's going, when you kick this, it creates rotation this way and then rotation this way.
Okay.
When the kicker and your team has seen this ball a number of different times, they know what to look for. The poor guy on the other side, he has no idea what to look for.
Right.
And that creates an advantage. It's not 100%, but because they know the general area it's going to and what type of a kick it is, whether it's a roller or a bounder, they're going to have the advantage on knowing what that ball is going to do when it gets there.
Thank you. And that's that's what I want to play around with. I want to go out there with the kicking ball bag tomorrow and just, well, crap, I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow, but just put this ball in about 25 different angles and positions and just start kicking it and see where it goes.
Yeah. I would highly recommend that.
Yeah, because like Sam for the Baltimore Ravens, he's got like 27 different types of punts that he says he can use.
Yeah, see, that's just the thing. And we didn't really talk about this at all, but I love ball tricks, and I love to see guys that can do ball tricks because that means they're obsessing on kicking and punting of football. This comes from Tony Franklin way back in the day. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
That's maybe before your team. He was the first barefoot kicker in the NFL.
Really?
Yeah, all the way back in the late 70s. And he would stand on the sideline, no matter what the weather, with a ball, and he would just drop it and kick it, and it would come up right here to his chest every single time. And he'd just stand there the whole game just doing this. And I would love that. Once in a while, he'd drop it, he'd kick it, it'd go over his head, he'd catch it behind his back. And because when guys are doing ball tricks like that, that means that they're obsessing on their craft, and you really should do that. So when you get this, like you already got your ball set chart, and even in the rain, you should go out in the rain if it's not too cold. Have some fun, figure some things out. You're going to find options that you never knew existed before.
So how can people get a hold of a LaunchPad kickoff tee?
The LaunchPad kickoff tee can be bought on our website at www.launchpadkickoff.com, or I think you have do you not have a link where people can get a discount?
I do not have a code yet. No.
Okay. Yeah, we've got to get you a code, and sorry about that. We should have had that worked out for you beforehand. But in future podcasts, mention that because your listeners can get a discount.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
In the meantime, launchpadkickoff.com, or you can go to Wizard Sports. Wizard Sports has a lot of great packages, including the LaunchPad.
Yeah, we our kids love to use the Wizard holders as well. So where can is everything on y'all social media the same as well? LaunchPad Kickoff Tee on Twitter, Instagram, all that?
Yeah, Twitter is LaunchPad Kick Tee.
Okay.
But you can search for us and find us that way. We're also on Facebook, LaunchPad Kickoff Tee, and then Instagram, LaunchPad Kickoff Tee as well. And then LaunchPad Kickoff Tee on YouTube as well. So there are the platforms that we're on.
We'll definitely put the links to all those in the show notes below. So go check them out. Coach Shafer, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this amazing product, this awesome kickoff tee that I wish I would have gotten out this morning and done, but didn't get around to it. But I'll definitely get it tested out sometime this week. So thank you so much.
You bet, man. It's a lifetime of fun. You'll have plenty of time to work with your LaunchPad kickoff tee. Thanks for having us in, Coach.
All right. Thank you.